Hello, and I'm Dr. Heru. Today we're going to talk about the practices of mating, between the African woman and the African man. It's come to my attention that a lot of black men aren't exactly not so much as taking advantage of the rise in very well-educated black women, but I could say that they aren't, for the most part, the black man is getting an education and getting everything that he's supposed to get, and then in turn goes out and has a tendency to leave his own culture. I would say that a lot of times, and not every black man can be accused of this, but I mean for the most part, a lot of guys get rich, make it or whatever, and then they go and get the trophy wife. I personally think it's just their way of showing the white man that, hey, I got something that even you can't have. And sometimes that's the case when you're dealing with a very light-skinned African American or black woman, whatever you want to call it. So I was talking with a friend of mine who she had some personal issues with black men who are marrying and dating white women, and I couldn't help but kind of laugh it off, because personally I was taught that black people in general, because of our skin color, we can have anybody we want. No matter what, it's gonna still produce the same effect where you're gonna have somebody with negroid features. So it doesn't matter. But she is, more interested in, not even interested, but she was just more upset, about the fact that, it's not just some nigger on the street messing with a white woman. It's, the guy who went to college, may have a BA, MBA, whatever, doctorate. That's the person who's going out and getting the white woman. And, and in the tone of her voice, I almost want to say it wasn't even about the fact that the woman was, it was worse than the fact that the woman was just white. A lot of times the women are more than just white. They're unattractive and white. So you have a lot of black women who feel like, well, damn, if you're gonna go that route, at least go to the extent of getting someone who's attractive. Because a lot of times you'll see black men with white women who aren't, who most people wouldn't consider to be very attractive. Whatever the reason or the case may be, whatever floats your boat. I personally don't really have a problem with people dating in and out of their races. It's just that for the most part, I just think that you can do anything you want, just as long as you're taking care of whoever you're doing whatever you're doing with. She, on the other hand, this woman, she was just totally is disgusted with professional athletes, because a lot of black professional athletes, they have white women or women who look white, and so they have a tendency to lean towards the lighter skin, or what they call fair-skinned race of people. And for the most part, I think it's just, it's something that they probably like. It's a result of, living under, European values and things like that. But at the same time, it's also, eventually it becomes what the person really, really wants. Even if they don't understand how that desire came about, it's still them and it's their choice. She couldn't accept that. In her eyes, that nigger is a race traitor, regardless of how intelligent he is. And I'm trying to explain to her that, well, that attitude right there is what will sometimes, I guess, shoo black men away from white women, especially well-educated black men. Because a lot of well-educated black men are not going to put up with a well-educated black woman who has a tendency to backslide into the mentality where she rolls her neck and, just snapping for, for whatever reason. While everyone has their little fluctuations in their, emotions, it is quite obvious that black women are more highly emotional than any other woman. And I would say not black women as a whole, like across the world, but more or less the African American, as they call her, or us or whatnot. The black women in America have a tendency to have a bit of a chip on their shoulder, and that when I explained that to her, she was on some shit. It's like that. She admitted to it, but it was one of those things that she really didn't want to admit to. And I've noticed that with a lot of black women. They know that they can be hard and very trying. And I've heard a lot of black women admit that, I understand exactly why the black man who gets rich and goes and messes with, or goes and has children with, or marries some woman of another race, it's simply because of the fact that they're intimidated by black women. Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that, damn it, really don't want the headache, don't want to argue, not really looking for a fight. And then no, in the sense that, no, you just might not be what I want out of a woman. Period. You see what I'm saying? And even when talking about that with her, she still kind of got upset and was still, I guess, somewhat frustrated. But I also mentioned the fact that, well, do you notice that prior to the black man even going, prior to a lot of black men, dealing with white women or marrying white women, black women were on their way to being like white women. It's no coincidence that black women straighten their hair in a sense to create the same idea of beauty that Caucasians have.